Hey everybody, this is a bit of a different start to our episode, but I'm Christy.
Hi, Sophie here.
So, you guys, I wanted to first and foremost before this episode, we like to keep things light, like to keep things fun around here, but I do want to address and apologize for the flippant comment that I made last week on the Emily Weiss Glossier episode, and I wanted to clarify what exactly I meant by the term emotional, women being more emotional in the workplace, and just like honestly extending my apologies to anyone that was triggered or impacted by that statement. I want to start off first and foremost by just letting everyone know that being emotional, I do not see it as a weakness at all. I see it, in fact, as a strength. And I don't really show the full part of myself on this podcast, and I think that Sophie and you guys see one side of us, but I think behind the curtain, I am an incredibly emotional person. And I have both Pisces and Cancer in my big three. I feel so deeply, and I don't ever want the term emotional to come across like it's a negative thing. I see it very much as one of my greatest strengths. And I wanted to clarify what exactly I intended to say, that it did not necessarily come out the way that I liked. So I want to be very clear. Both women and men are emotional beings. I think that they are emotional in different ways. Women oftentimes, and again, I want to be clear of, I don't want to make sweeping generalizations, but I just want to clarify the majority of what I've seen from my lived experience. Women are a bit more emotional because they're deeply intuitive. We allow ourselves to feel whenever things come up for us. I feel like that's why we have such a community of women, female friends, because we can display our emotions through tears and through sadness and leaning into whatever emotion is coming up. And I think you juxtapose that with men, however, and I think rather than feeling their emotions deeply, it can come across sometimes as anger. And I want to reduce any judgment on either emotion, whether it's sadness, whether it's anger, whatever it may be. Both of these emotions are valid, and I think men and women can exhibit both. I think what I intended to mean was women are more emotional because they can come across like tearful or sad when they're stressed. Men may come across as anger. But again, neither emotion is better or worse than the other. They just are. And I have had direct reports since 2018, and if you were to ask any of them, past and present, they would tell you the exact same thing, that I personally do not handle stress well at all. I let it come out, and it can come across as aggressive, rude, dare I even say the term bossy, which I know is a word that is often used to describe women, but people in the workplace may probably refer to me as that. And I think that yes, my emotions can get the best of me, and they can come across aggressive or rude in the moment, which I fully take ownership of and I'm working on every day. But I do think my emotions are what make me a really good manager as well. Like, I advocate for all my direct reports, and when I feel like they're not understood or supported, I will sit with them for hours to craft ways to improve their professional development. How can we get you to pass the CPA exam? Let's outline a study schedule. I listen to them when they're hurt, overwhelmed, stressed, when they're crying to me because they can't figure out what the next step is in their role. And I think that emotions are a spectrum, and I think that while I'm not perfect, and I can come across aggressively or saying the wrong thing, and I will put my foot in my mouth 5 million times over and over again, I think it really is like a good thing that we all as women, I know 99% of you guys are women, and I think that it should be leaned into. Again, I am so fucking sensitive. It's crazy. You guys just don't see that part of me. And I think the way that I phrase it was interpreted, which I understand why it was, suggesting that women are incapable of running businesses or fostering great brands. And I think I had to do a bit of research on my end and figure out that it's really no surprise that the majority of VC firms do not fund female-founded businesses. And this ultimately results in a huge gap in technological advancements when we have products and services that are exclusively geared towards men. That is an inherent problem in our society, and it perpetuates as we continue to grow male-founded businesses. And I'm really sorry that the rhetoric that I espoused on last week's episode just contributed to that belief. And I think that Sophie and I know it best that we work harder than most people we know. And I don't mean that as like a flex. I just feel like I know how capable and ambitious we both are. And I think me saying what I did last week just waters down what we've built so far. And everyone else that has worked so hard to be in the positions that they're in, corporate, own business, whatever. So I want to apologize, and I'm deeply, deeply sorry for what I said. And I want to make sure that you guys feel heard and understood, and that I would never do or say anything that would contribute to feelings of less than, because I've been there before, and to feel less than or not heard is the worst feeling in the world. So I hear you. I'm very sorry.
Yeah, well said. Well said. And yeah, like Christy said, she was speaking from her lived experience and perpetuated kind of a generalization, but we never, ever, ever want to make anyone here feel alienated or offended or hurt. Obviously, we hear you, we saw your comments, and we definitely, I know Christy took it to heart, and Christy and I had a conversation about it where I said, I don't agree with you, Christy. And, you know, we talked it out a little bit because I know Christy and I know what she was trying to say. It just didn't come across that way. But yeah, women rule. Women are the best. Like Christy said, 99% of you are women, and we love women, obviously. So, and I also, like Christy said, she has Cancer and Pisces placements. I am Aries, Capricorn, Virgo. I am like not emotional. So again, that was me being like, Christy, no, men are more emotional, actually, in my opinion. Yeah. So we had a little debate about it, but no, I get what you were trying to say, and it just didn't come across that way. And you put it perfectly.
Thank you. Yeah, and Sophie and I have talked about this off mic, but it's weird, honestly. It's super weird talking to my good friend Sophie, and sometimes we forget that we're not on a microphone, and sometimes they'll say things without thinking, and that's just human. And I'm probably going to put my foot in my mouth tomorrow, because I say shit sometimes, and it'll just come out without thought. And I never intend to offend anyone. I don't want to isolate any of our listeners, because I know the comments, the majority of them were met with a lot of just compassion of like, we love you, Christy, we love this show, but this disappointed me. It wasn't like haters coming in the comments saying like, fuck you guys, I was right this whole time about you two. Like, you know, we know it came from a place of compassion, and I am very, very grateful for these listeners. And it's really weird. I will never begin to, it's hard to explain to people, even like my therapist, to explain what it's like to have your voice and having people listen to it and just feeling exposed. Like I feel like exposed every single day. And I think this was different for me. Like this was, it was challenging, but it's like words have value and weight, and we must use our word very intentionally. So again, please be patient with me. I don't always say the right thing. I'll say hot takes, but I don't mean to offend anyone ever. So, yeah.
Yeah. And like Christy said, we will fuck up again.
100%. Like tomorrow, probably.
When we yap this much. And I think what you guys love about us is that we're unfiltered and we cuss and we have hot takes. Not like other girls. No, we have unfiltered hot takes very often. So, yeah. And that's, I know, what so many of you listen to us for, what you love about us. But of course, that comes along with sometimes we're going to say the wrong thing. And not the first time, won't be the last. So thank you guys for bearing with us, and thank you for holding us accountable and giving us, you know, the feedback. And that's how we learn, and that's how we grow, and that's how we get better. And like Christy said, it's always jarring to remember how many people are listening to the show, because Christy and I sometimes, it feels like it's just us kikiing. So it's definitely a good reminder that our words have impact.
Yes. So. And just shout out to Sophie, like genuinely, like for real, the women that I've dealt with in the workplace, including Sophie especially, because we work so closely together, there's not an hour that goes by in the day that we don't speak. Like we are so capable and detail-oriented, ambitious, resilient, like the list goes on. So it was foot in mouth comment, and that's all I can do is apologize, and I'm genuinely very sorry. So I hope y'all can forgive me, and we can enjoy, you know, the rest of the fun banter. We can laugh, and this episode is about an influencer that you may love, that you may hate, whatever. We like to do fun, funny, light things on this episode. So it's, hopefully there's not another one of these that we need to do, but regardless, the reaction felt strong enough for us to definitely address it, because we don't want to disappoint you guys. So that's it.
Yeah, and we'll continue to grow and learn, and probably fuck up again, like we said. I mean, it's inevitable when you got, or me. I mean, it's literally a 50-50 shot. So, yeah, thank you guys again. And I don't know if I said it. Christy apologized. I know that it was Christy who said this, but I also just want to say sorry to anyone out there who was who was listening and got offended, because we never ever want to hurt you. We love you guys. So yeah, I know this has gone way longer than we thought it would, but
I know. I was
this
like
was
5 minutes, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Who knew?
this was a good conversation, I think. None of this was scripted, by the way. This is all totally from the heart. We have no talking points or canned PR statement. Just wanted to talk it out and apologize. And yeah, thank you guys
Yeah.
again. And hopefully you enjoy this episode.
Yeah. And Sophie's leading this one. It's a good one. So let us know what you think about it in the comments and talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, Sophie.
Hey, Christy. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Snark Bait. How is it going? How's it going?
How's it going? Well, as I sit in my 80-degree weathered home in California, Sophie's freezing her ass off watching Harry Potter. If you guys didn't already listen to DET, she's having a cozy winter morning. And I don't know, Sophie and I have been on the phone for the last 3 hours.
It's felt like longer than that.
Yeah, you
Move
guys.
out of the way. Out of the way. That was me yelling at my husband when I was trying to figure out my stuff today. But we made it, and we are now on our last leg of the day, recording-wise.
What are you doing this weekend, Sophie? Just as a little, let's take it back to the basics. What are you doing this weekend with Henry? With
Not much.
Baxter?
I have my girlfriend's birthday dinner tonight. So that'll be fun. I'm trying to think of what else. I feel like that's about it.
Pretty low key.
Pretty low key. Oh, Super Bowl party tomorrow, which I am making buffalo chicken dip for. And it's
Ooh.
really easy, you guys. It's not, we made one in the crock pot recently, but this is just a stovetop one. You don't need a crock pot, and it's just 5 ingredients. It's really easy.
Wow. We'll put it on the Substack.
Yeah, if
Substack.com.
anyone's interested, I will put it on the Substack.
Yeah, the link is in our show notes, substack.com/@snarkbaitpod. We put all the links, but ooh, that sounds delicious. Well, you should actually put Henry's Sloppy Joe recipe, because I don't think I've ever seen as many DMs for the Sloppy Joe recipe as I did when you mentioned it on DET.
Wait, that's so true. I'm going to put that in the Substack, because we get so many DMs still to this day of people being like, where is Henry's Sloppy Joe recipe? And it lives up to the hype. You guys, I promise you. What are your plans this weekend? What are you doing for the Super Bowl?
I don't care about sports, but I am jealous that it is in San Francisco this year, because I'm seeing all my friends post, these parties and they're going out and all these celebrities are in San Francisco. My ass would be on high alert. I would tell everyone, don't bother me. I'm here to work. I will be scaling the streets of San Francisco, up and down those hilly streets. Yep. Going through trying to break into every party that I could. But unfortunately, I am not there. But I'll live vicariously through the people I know up there. But no, I talked about it the other day, but I'm going to officially apply for Traders US for the normies out here if you're not a celebrity. So I think we're recording Saturday, Feb 7th. Me and my friend are going to record my audition video. I have no idea what it's going to look like. I probably have to do some market research on this after we record, but I just want to keep it easy. To be honest, can I be so honest with the audience right now and with you, Sophie?
Of course.
So yesterday at work, I've just been feeling so burnt out, and I've talked about this before, and I kind of just had a breaking point yesterday, and I was on the phone with this 2 salespeople, and I'm close with them, and I feel like I can be my best self with them and normal, but one of the guys, he's a middle-aged, has a family, whatever. He called me on Zoom after we had got off this call with another gal in sales, and he's like, do you want to just talk about it? And he was so honest with me and was being so lovely and was like,
Aww.
He was we talked on the phone for 30 minutes just about how stressful our jobs can be. And I feel with what's going on in the world right now, everything feels incredibly heavy. And sometimes it feels how else can we escape? We escape through our phones, and then it's just it's crazy. And then we're at work and it feels like it's not really being acknowledged. And I just feel we're kind of all just living in this world that feels heavy right now. So I just want to call attention to that. And I feel we all live in our own little spaces, but I feel that it's good to kind of be honest with people in your life, even those that you least expect could understand what you're going through, because the more you talk about it, the more people are willing to relate to you and be honest about their experiences as well with what they're dealing with.
Yeah, that's such a good point. We also live in an age where we are so plugged in to our own detriment. The amount of horrible news and horrible things we are bombarded with every single day. And then, we just have to go about our daily lives anyway. Like, we were not meant to live like this. Like, our brains were not designed for this amount of information and overstimulation every single day.
Right.
So remember to take care of yourselves, everyone, please.
Yeah, take care of yourself and make sure that you're talking about it with people that you trust, your family, your friends, people at work that you find to be trusted confidants. Because I kind of took a risk yesterday. I was kind of like, this is kind of what I'm feeling, and this is why I'm so upset. And I'm feeling just heavy, and it felt good to like talk about it, albeit it's through a screen because so many of us are working remotely. But regardless, it feels nice to connect with people that sometimes I feel like we're living in a fake world when we're in corporate because you're just doing your job, you're there to show up. But we have to like have this facade that's not real sometimes.
Exactly. Like, you have to pretend that like our own government isn't kidnapping people off the streets.
Right.
And we're just supposed to pretend that everything's normal at work. It's crazy.
Right. It's not natural. So I just want to implore you, baby snarks, to take good care of yourselves and make sure that you're keeping yourself first, and just making sure you're being taken care of amongst all this madness. But I hope that we can be a reprieve for you here at Snarkbait Pod. And I think this is like this influencer, like, we're not covering Ashton Kutcher, we're not covering
this one is
it's light. We're not covering the Epstein files. We just want to be a reprieve for you guys. So I'm excited, Sophie, for you to walk us through this.
Yeah, a light, silly, fun one for the most part. Miss Avery Woods. And Christy, I'm curious. I feel like Avery Woods, you've said, is kind of a blind spot for you. What are your thoughts up top?
To be honest, the only thing I know about Avery Woods is her talking about Jesus and like sodomy, that weird clip that she did with, I think, Carrie Jousey, and then her alleged beef with my girl Emilie Kiser, who I absolutely love her content. That's really all that I know.
Yeah, so I knew who she was before Emilie Kiser's son tragically passed away. But I feel like since we were just saying that this is going to be light and fun and silly. Obviously, this is not light, fun, and silly, but
right. But we can't talk about Avery Woods without bringing up the context of her relationship with Emilie Kiser.
So, the context there is that Avery and Emilie were best friends before this tragedy, and it seems like something has happened where they are no longer friends. And we will get into that. But that is how I kind of, after that happened, I started to really consume Emily's backlog of content and Avery's, and they were always together. They were, best of buds. They called themselves, I think, like Dua Lipa and Margot Robbie, because those were their celebrity doppelgangers, I guess, according to their followers. And they were this dynamic duo, always going on the same press trips together, always hanging out, always together. And now they don't seem to be friends at all, which is interesting. But, I guess let's just get into it. So Avery Woods is a very prominent TikTok creator, podcaster, and former pediatric ICU/aesthetic nurse with over 2 million followers on TikTok and almost 1 million on Instagram. And she's known for sharing a lot of content around motherhood, fashion, lifestyle, mental health, etc. And her content used to be really oversharey. She was always oversharing everything, very crass, didn't really seem to have a filter. Now it's completely taken a shift, which we will discuss. But she really came up from being just super loud, boisterous, confident, authentic, no filter. And she is currently based in California, formerly Arizona. But she now is in Calabasas and hosts the Cheers podcast under the Unwell network, our favorite.
No wonder I haven't heard of the podcast because it's under Unwell.
Yeah, that's where podcasts go to die. And she transitioned from nursing to full-time content creation, I believe in 2024, I want to say. So, no more nursing really, but the nursing content was definitely part of her come up. So as for her background, she was born April 19th, 1995. So she is 30, almost 31. She is a mom of 2. And she actually had her 2 kids before she turned 25 years old. And there is definitely something to be said about her longtime partner, David, who is formerly a law enforcement officer. We will get to that. Apparently, they met when he was allegedly still married to his ex. And Yeah, she was apparently really young. And yeah, she
Scandalous.
ended up having her son, Ziggy, and daughter, Stevie, all before she turned 25. He also has two children from a previous marriage. Let me just quickly fact check myself that it's two, I believe it's two daughters from a previous marriage. And Avery has gotten some backlash in the past for sort of pretending they don't exist.
Oh.
And yeah,
It
but
reminds
of
me of Morgan
course,
Riddle that we did on Patreon about,
yes,
yeah, her husband and his child from another woman, how she kind of doesn't acknowledge the child's existence.
exactly. And you could argue that, yes, it's two daughters from a previous relationship. And which allegedly Avery may or may not have met him while he was with their mother still. But you could argue that, what does that his ex think about her kids being featured on Avery's social media? Maybe it's just that she doesn't want them on social media, but she definitely has gotten flack before for pretending that those two previous children do not exist. But in any case, she, like I said, has her own children, Ziggy and Stevie, and worked as a pediatric nurse, even through COVID, and later as an aesthetic nurse injector. And she has said on transitioning into content creation that her entire life she wanted to be a nurse, specifically pediatrics. When I was in nursing school, I didn't see a lot of positivity on social media regarding the field of nursing. I started sharing my nursing school journey on Instagram to give study tips, scrub fashion ideas, nursing hairstyles, and more. Not too long after, I was noticed by a large scrub company and started growing from there. After nursing school, I spent the majority of my career working in a level 1 trauma hospital in the pediatric ICU. Over the course of the next 4 years, I worked full time in the ICU while also attempting to build my social media platform. I slowly began sharing my life outside of nursing and realized I didn't have a following solely because I was a nurse, but more so because people resonated with the person I am. And I think that's very true about a lot of content creators that come up with, they have a niche, whether it's, law school or nursing or cooking, but then they become personalities all their own.
Right.
And they're not just followed for their niche, they are followed for who they are as a person. And it doesn't matter if they end up, dropping out of law school or who am I thinking of? Okay, Callie, maybe?
Yeah,
Or she graduated law school, maybe? I don't know, but
I think of like your rich BFF as well. Like she was a Wall Street girl and then she became an influencer and she makes so much money from being an influencer. But I think actually Cece She, who I think I've been acquainted to her through like podcasters, like she seems lovely. But I remember when her content was like being a lawyer at a corporate firm, and I think she left it due to content creation. She tried to create a book, but I think people were upset because they're like, where's our lawyer friend that we like? People sometimes feel really territorial over the niche that they once latched onto, and then when they kind of veer off because they're making more money without that career, people feel like almost cheated. It's weird. It's a weird parasocial thing.
it is. It is. But, I feel like once you have enough followers to quit your job, a lot of these people, it's like, why wouldn't I?
Of course.
Yeah.
When you're earning more money, it makes most sense to leave. Why would you not
Exactly.
take that opportunity?
Exactly. So in 2025, after around 6 years in Arizona, Avery and her family relocated back to Southern California to be closer to family. And I believe Southern California is where she was raised and is from originally. I couldn't find a clear answer between California and Arizona because it looks like she spent a lot of time in both states. In May 2025, she announced to her TikTok followers that they had purchased a new home in Calabasas, reportedly worth $3.7 million. And did a lot of ugly as fuck renovations, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I wonder if she comes from money or if she purchased that
No,
home.
I don't believe she does.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So as for her, well, she is a very successful content creator.
Right. No,
I
it's, like,
always find
amazing.
it so confusing when people are confused about how content creators are affording like these multi-million-dollar homes. It's because they make so much fucking money. It's insane. It's like
Yeah.
almost disgusting how much money they make, but that's the world we live in.
Yeah.
So, like I said, Avery rose to fame through her relatable content around nursing and parenthood. She also had an OnlyFans while she was pregnant
Oh.
for pregnant fetish content, which is definitely
Oh.
an interesting choice.
It's a niche that I guess there are people find to be very, they like it. So I guess she kind of hit that niche.
It's so disgusting, obviously.
It is a little, yeah, it's a little bit.
I'm sorry. It is. It's a way of, I think there's nothing wrong with feeling sexy and beautiful as a pregnant woman, but to exploit your unborn child like that is gross to me. I don't know. I'm open to hearing people's arguments if you disagree, but I think it's gross. And something that is also interesting about her come up on social media is that it is largely because of her daughter, Stevie Lee. So she would post a lot of voiceover content of her daughter, of her making a fake voiceover of her daughter being like, "You this fucking bitch," like blah, blah, blah. Like doing like funny comedic videos.
Wasn't there an influencer that we covered that also does this? Was it not Danny Austin?
Probably Danny Austin, but like, I don't know.
Yeah.
In any case, yeah, she would go viral for these funny videos featuring her daughter. And she also would post, I think, exploitative imagery of her daughter in a way that was a little inappropriate and disturbing.
Sure.
And so that is also something that she has gotten flack for over the years. But in any case, my point is that her children were a big part of her content. This has since changed for a reason that we will discuss potentially. It's unclear if it's because of, I don't know, we'll get to that. But her kids are less a part of her content as they were, but a big part of her rise to fame was exploiting her children. Mm-hmm. This episode isn't as light and fun as we were advertising.
Yeah,
so far at least.
I didn't realize that there was like the kind of exploitation of our children. It honestly, I said it once, I'll say it again, Amanda Stanton. It reminds me so much of the way Amanda Stanton was with her kids and from The Bachelor.
It should be legal.
It should be. And all the pictures of the daughters, I don't even want to say scantily clad because that just sounds so adult. It's more so just like you have perverts on the internet. And when you see these photos being shared more often than they're being liked, you have to ask yourself why.
Yep, totally. So when asked why her content resonates so well with people, she said, "I believe it's because I truly am my most authentic self. I touch on topics that can be very vulnerable and sometimes say what most people won't. Although that can attract a ton of internet hate, the majority of people find it refreshing and relatable. I hope to always stay that way." And yeah, with these comedic voiceovers, relatable rants, heartfelt moments with her kids, etc., she found this audience that just loved her. And she struck a ton of brand deals with different companies. The Mayfair Group she did a collab with for a loungewear collection, did a signature coffee with Black Rock Coffee Bar, huge campaign for Kosas, makeup, Ulta Beauty, tons of, high-profile partnerships. Then she signs with the Unwell Network in 2023. Her podcast is called Cheers. Again, Christy has never heard of it, but probably has some sort of listenership. Let us know, you guys. Are you a baby snark and a what do you think they call themselves? A Cheerio?
That's kind of cute. Yeah, I only know about it because that Harry Jowsey weird clip, but I've never heard it ever talked about on the airwaves other than that one weird clip about the
the Harry Jowsey clip, which we will obviously get to. And the Apple Podcast description reads, "Sit down and enjoy a glass of wine with your host, Avery Woods, as she deep dives into all things life with her weekly guests." And that's kind of the gist, all things life. So, life.
That sounds incredibly descriptive. And something I would like to somehow dive into. I mean, there's so many things I want to talk life with. So
yeah. So the vibe is very casual, uncensored girl talk, interviews, personal stories, etc. She tapes at the Unwell studio now in LA. Her previous guests have included, like we said, Harry Jowsey, Raven Simone, Alex Cooper, Kit Keenan. So many people we've done episodes about.
I mean, God, maybe we should collab with Cheers.
Her friend Scotty Hatch helped produce the podcast, but recently announced he's stepping away to pursue photography full time. And people speculate, why is her longtime friend leaving the show? What happened there? Was there a falling out? We don't know. We've talked before about how OneSkin isn't just hype or fancy packaging, it's science. The founding team of OneSkin started with a question and a dream. If visible signs of aging like fine lines, wrinkles, and loss of elasticity are all caused by so-called zombie cells, What if you actually just reduced those cells to slow the aging process down instead of just covering it up? While most skincare brands are just band-aids to surface level problems, OneSkin treats skin at the cellular level with their patented OS01 peptide, the first ingredient proven to target senescent cells, the root cause of those aforementioned wrinkles, crepiness, loss of elasticity, all the key signs of skin aging. And if you don't believe me, these results have been validated in 4 different clinical studies. OneSkin is for real, you guys. We've been trying to tell you. Born from over a decade of longevity research, OneSkin's OS01 peptide is proven to target the visible signs of aging, helping you unlock your healthiest skin now and as you age. For a limited time, try OneSkin with 15% off using code SNARK at oneskin.co/snark. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code SNARK. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you.
Is there any worse feeling than being uncomfortably high? Especially when you're with other people and suddenly overanalyzing your every word? Ugh. But that's why I love Lumi gummies. Lumi gummies are made to make you feel just right, not too stoned. Think relax and a little giggly, specifically their sativa ones. My current favorite way to unwind after a long day of running a business that I'm passionate about is with a Lumi gummy, a TV dinner, and a disturbing documentary. And when I need help sleeping, I've tried so many different sleep aids to mix results. Then I tried Lumi Gummies Indica Plum Berry Runts. Just one 5 milligram gummy an hour before bed. I'm out like a light. And I wake up super well rested, without any grogginess, and ready to conquer the day all over again. Whether you're looking for an end of day de stressor, a midday mood boost, or help getting the best sleep ever, Lumi Gummies has a strain that's exactly what you're looking for. Lumi Gummies are available nationwide. Go to lumigummies.com. That's lumigummies.com and use code SNARK for 30% off your order. Again, that's lumigummies.com, code SNARK. lumigummies.com, code SNARK.
As you guys know, I'm a proud auntie, and for as long as I can remember, my nephew Miles's favorite things to eat are Little Spoon. They're also the kind of meals and snacks that you actually want to steal from the toddler because they just look so good. Miles is almost 3 and loves the Little Spoon plates. They're heat and eat meals with superfoods and hidden veggies, perfect for picky eaters and getting mealtime on the table in minutes. His favorite is the mini pancake puffs with chicken, vegetable, maple sausage, and sweet potato, along with a mac and cheese with invisible butternut squash and carrots. I'm getting hungry just talking about it. Little Spoon also has the best snacks for when your toddler is on the go. Miles loves the puffs. They're organic, made with simple ingredients, and easy for his cute, chubby little hands to grasp, supporting oral motor development while adding a nutrition boost. Love that. With 100+ ingredients banned across the board, you don't have to overthink labels or second guess what you're serving. It's already been thought out for you, and that confidence makes all the difference for parents and aunties like me everywhere. Feeding the kids doesn't have to be complicated. Little Spoon makes it easy with real, nutritionally balanced meals and snacks designed for every stage. It shows up ready to go, takes the pressure off, and somehow still gets devoured, veggies and all. No artificial dyes, flavors, or sweeteners either. And you know what? That's a win I'll take every time. Get 30% off your first online order at littlespoon.com/snark with code SNARK. That's littlespoon.com/snark with code SNARK for 30% off your first order. So let's get to some of her biggest controversies and scandals. This one is interesting. So in March 2024, she faced criticism over a TikTok video where she spoke about the bond she has with her son. She has since deleted this video, but she claimed that other boy moms may be able to understand her when she says that her son has a special place in her heart that doesn't quite apply to her daughter. She explained that her son Ziggy is the biggest light of her life and that while she's obsessed with her daughter, it isn't the same. She says, "My whole life I always wanted to be a boy mom, and I remember when I found out I was pregnant with him, I was ecstatic." And she said that she was like a tomboy growing up and she just like always wanted to raise a little boy. She goes, "I am so obsessed with this child." Blah, blah, blah. She says, "He has a special place in my heart that just isn't the same as with her daughter and that he is the light of her life."
One of the first things we talked about on Dark Energy Tuesday was, I think, the concept of a boy mom.
Yep.
And how obsessed women can be with their sons and how unhealthy and creepy it starts to become. I think about this often with Jackie and Claudia. They've mentioned from my recollection on podcasts how different the dynamic would be if they were to raise girls. And I'm like so the opposite of that. Like if I were to have children, I would want a girl because I don't know, I can relate to girls. I am a girl myself. I don't understand this concept at all.
It's like a toxic, it's a stereotype because not all boy moms are like this.
Of course.
But the toxic boy mom stereotype, right, is that she is a little bit codependent. I'm trying to look at this little description of enmeshment, and where women don't get the emotional fulfillment and satisfaction from their husband, so through their son, they rely on their son to give them that, which is so not normal and so unhealthy, but that might be related to some of this toxic boy mom culture, is that
Right.
they see their son as like the man in their life. It's like very bizarre and gross, obviously. But
Yes.
obviously these comments, she is implying that she prefers her son over her daughter, which is so disgusting. And imagine her daughter watching this in the future. And also the fact that she is only relevant on social media for the most part from exploiting her daughter.
Right.
To creeps on the internet.
Right. I mean, it's not us assuming from this that she prefers her son. She says it herself.
Yeah,
That her
she
son,
literally says
quote,
it.
has a special place in my heart, and Ziggy is the light of my life. How else are we supposed to take that comment without making the conclusion that you favor your son?
Exactly. And she got a ton of backlash for this, ended up apologizing and saying that she, spiraled after this happened because it was her first big scandal. She said she wanted to die and drink every single night. So, very dramatic for her. But I don't know, maybe you shouldn't say publicly that you prefer your son over your daughter.
I mean, if you're saying that to the public, what else are you saying behind closed doors?
Exactly. Poor Stevie Lee.
Yeah.
Not only is she like fucking exploited constantly. Right. So let's get to the Harry Jowsey podcast episode, Fallout. So, which we referenced earlier. In February 2025, Avery came under a lot of fire for vulgar and offensive remarks she made during this episode with Harry Jowsey. And they were basically talking about online haters. And she said that so many of her online haters are religious, have like a religious Bible verse in their bio. And she said, Jesus is going to bend you over and fuck your ass. Jesus is going to go hoop pirate on your ass if you keep up with this bullshit. And basically said that Jesus would anally rape them.
Without lube.
She says, without lube. And she said, I've never been religious, but all my haters would say you're a fat, ugly mom. And then in their bios, it's like Psalms 369, blessed mama 4, whatever. And that was what this was in response to.
Yeah. I mean, it is quite common for the haters to have Bible verses in their bios. But I think to then translate that into Jesus sodomizing her hater is incredibly dark-sided. Offensive.
Deeply offensive. It's gross. It's crass to imply that your haters should or would get anally raped. And then also offensive to your Christian followers.
Right.
Obviously,
like, we want no part of this. Don't include us. Like
exactly. She ended up making an apology and saying, I just wanted to say my podcast is a comedy podcast because you're a comedian. I thought you were just like a life liver. And there are jokes that I should not make that cross lines. I made a joke and I crossed a line and I'm so sorry, blah, 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 etc. She also made a really disgusting comment in the same episode where she said that about her postpartum body, I've had 2 C-sections, so my body is pristine. Basically implying that mothers who give birth vaginally are less pristine than her. It was like she was clearly trying to flirt with Harry, and it was like so disgusting and
that's exactly
offensive.
what I was going to say. Yeah, like it's almost a pick-me phrase.
Oh, it's so pick-me. My body's pristine because I had C-sections, unlike you other bitches who gave birth vaginally.
Yeah, what? I mean...
Yeah, she's also just, in general, she is very open about her sex life and has even talked about how much her husband loves having anal sex with her and how often they do it. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to share that, sure. But it's also like, at what point are we oversharing here? At what point is it just like, okay, you are like taking it too far with the oversharing?
Yeah, I find that when there are people that have to speak so much about their sex life, I always say this, it's like the longer the caption, like, why are you needing to tell us? Where is that desire to tell strangers about how often your husband wants to have anal sex with you? Why is that relevant? Why is that something that your listeners would want to hear? What about that is interesting or comedic?
Yeah, it's like you're overcompensating for something.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't understand that oversharing. And it just feels very immature and juvenile and overcompensating. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. And let's actually, speaking of her husband, so her husband, David, there is a consistent rumor who was a police officer in Arizona, was forced to resign from the police force after getting caught having a sexual encounter with a coworker in the station locker room who happens to be male. And this is a long-standing rumor. It has been all over the internet since, she has been on the internet. And
God, this is juicy.
He was apparently caught in a compromising position. And she was also, this was at the same time that Avery, quote unquote, early retired her husband because she was blessed with all of the success as an influencer. And so she's like, yeah, I get to retire my husband. Great. Amazing. Of course.
He can help me raise the kids. That's great. Like, it works for some people. That's awesome.
Exactly. But she was super vague about how her husband, quote unquote, retired from police work for safety reasons, which is unusual because she was usually very candid about her life. Like I said, she was always very authentic and would overshare, like we said. And this was suddenly a very vague thing. And like I said, her husband was also allegedly 24 and married with kids when they met, while Avery was 18 and working as a barista. So there apparently was some overlap there, allegedly. There's also a consistent rumor online, who knows, that her and her husband like to swing. And they're, sexually open. And this is also something that would seem on brand with her based on how open she is about her sex life on the internet. She's actually said they've had threesomes before. So again, a lot of oversharing happening in Avery Woods land.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think that the wealthier the neighborhood, the more bored like these people are, the more likely to swing. I know for a fact in Newport, people are swinging left, right, and center. It's like the best kept secret. Yeah.
Left, right, and center, baby.
And I have no doubt that these, young, successful couples or retirees or whatever, people that have wealth and that are bored perhaps are swinging. It's funny because I think we hear about it with Secret Lies, but I know this happens in Newport frequently.
Oh my God, so funny. I mean, nothing wrong with that.
No, totally. I love that for them. Like,
love that for them. If it works for them, shake it up.
No, yeah.
So let's get into kind of the Emilie Kiser potential fallout. So,
yes,
like I said, the two were inseparable for many years. They shared the same management company. They would go on the same brand trips. They both lived in Arizona at the time. They were always together. Mm-hmm. And then tragically in May 2025, Emilie lost her 3-year-old son, Trig, in a drowning accident. Absolutely tragic. And Avery was really close with Trig because her kids would always play with them. And she, obviously she felt that loss too, I'm sure. And she went quiet on social media for a couple of weeks following this tragedy. And people were praising her left and right. Oh my God, what a good friend. And it's like, I don't see how there would be any other option. Like, of course, she's going to take a break on social media. Like, I didn't see any other option. But she got a lot of praise for this for whatever reason, even though to me it seemed like a given. She resurfaced in June 2025 after about 3 weeks offline and wore a necklace engraved with Trig. And she captioned it, "Been a while, missed you." But by that Friday, the TikTok was taken down. Some felt like the video was self-serving, trying to capitalize on a tragedy, and then there was speculation that Emilie may have asked her to take it down.
And mind you, Trig tragically passed in May of 2025, and she posted this video in June 2025. So like about three to 4 weeks.
Yeah, it was like 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We have no idea. This is all speculative that maybe she posted that video without Emilie's approval with the Trig necklace, because at this point, Emilie hadn't been back on social media. Emilie took months off of social media after the death of her son, obviously. And people are like, did Avery do this without Emily's consent and trying to make this tragedy about her? Obviously, we don't really know what happened or why she deleted the video. But it does seem like the two are not friends anymore. Like I said, they have not interacted at all. They don't interact with each other's content. I know that Avery has moved to Southern California right after the tragedy actually happened. She moved. So, but Emilie has been in California and Avery has been in Arizona. It doesn't seem like they have met up, hung out. What?
Emilie in Arizona, Avery in California.
No. Emilie has been, they visited like the state. Like Emilie will be on a trip to California or Avery will be on a trip to Arizona, and they have not
been spotted together.
They have not hung out. They don't. And they used to like constantly film videos together.
Emilie was
like, they were like actually like funny together. Like I don't know. It's hard to describe. Like I said, I fell into this rabbit hole of their content just somewhat recently, and watching their content together, you could tell that they were genuine friends. A lot of people speculate that, they were only friends for social media. Like, shut up. Obviously, they weren't real friends. I don't know. I got the vibe they were genuine friends. They seemed really funny. They had good, banter and just seemed to really be silly and fun together. And obviously, when a tragedy like the one that happened to Emilie occurs, that will fundamentally change you. But I do think it's interesting that they seem to not be friends at all anymore. Grand Consequence 790 on Reddit said, my guess is that A hasn't been through much, so material things and image are clearly still priority for her. Emilie had the rug ripped out from underneath her, and her entire life changed for the worst in 10 minutes. I bet Emilie just doesn't talk to her because their friendship was for views, and Emilie is looking for deeper connections. That's just speculation, obviously. This is also when Avery's content took such a turn. She came back and all of a sudden was this completely different person, which we've talked about before.
Yes. The haunting of her own house.
Yes, haunting her own house. So she went from being loud and boisterous to having this creepily calm disposition and being really soft-spoken, and just her voice is different. All of a sudden she's talking like this, and she used to be like, yeah, fucking asshole, anal sex, butt sex.
Yeah. No lube.
No lube. And now she's like, yeah, so you guys, we are getting Stevie ready for school today.
Well, your voice was so nice, that was a nice cadence.
It's a very, very, very strange switch up. I'm going to be honest. Okay, sorry. I'm plugging in my computer really fast because I just realized my computer's going to die. I can't deal with another technical difficulty today.
Yeah, it's been too overstimulating.
Computer's plugged in. So yeah, she completely changed her disposition, haunting her own house, as in walking super, super slowly around her house in some of these day in my life videos. And people are like, what are you doing? Who are you? Yeah. This is not the Avery Woods that we grew up with, So,
and I think Emilie was just in Carmel with 3 of her girlfriends. Carmel is not that far from Calabasas. You could definitely drive. So that's also interesting as well.
She's visited LA a decent amount. She's visited different parts of Southern California. And Avery has also visited Arizona. And it does not seem like they've been together. Yeah. So people also speculated that this change in demeanor, change in Avery's content, was her kind of trying to emulate Emilie's niche, which Emilie was more of the calm, clean girl, really calming content with the Day in My Life organization content. People were like, is Avery trying to wear Emilie's skin now that she is off social media for the foreseeable future? Obviously, we know now that Emilie returned to social media, but people were like, this is creepy. She's changed so much. Obviously, like I said, Avery was close to Trig, and Avery also went through a loss here. Obviously not the same gravity as a mother losing her son. Right. But so you could argue that Avery is different because she was changed by this event. So that's the other argument.
But I do think them no longer being friends anymore, to me, this is not ambiguous. They definitely are not friends anymore. The timing of it has to align with this tragedy. That's all I can kind of go off of. What else changed in their friendship? I mean, that's all I can speculate based on the facts. And I do think that when you have creators that are constantly posting themselves, their lives, every minute of their lives, and with another person, when they stop doing that, 100% of the time there's something going on. Like, you cannot tell me otherwise.
Yeah, it's very, very, very strange. It really was like a flip switch after Avery came back from this 3-week break, and her content totally changed. And yeah, Emilie has not been seen interacting with it at all. And like I said, she suddenly stopped posting her kids' faces when she used to post them nonstop. They used to be a huge, major part of her content. And this is when she moved to California, which, like I said, was coincidentally around the same time as Trig's tragic death. Some people speculated that she stopped posting them because she saw how scary the parasocial relationships online were with Trig, which, if you guys were following this when it happened, it was insane how parasocial people were being. Yeah. And it was because Trig was so part of Emilie's content.
Right.
And it definitely, I'm sure, was a wake-up call. It seems to have been a wake-up call for Emilie, because now she does not show her, I think he's like 9 months old, Teddy, 10 months old. I think he turns 1 in March. She does not show him. So this is probably a wake-up call for Emilie. Maybe it was a wake-up call for Avery too. But people speculated that, no, Avery doesn't care about that. She loves to exploit her kids. It's the fact that California has laws about kids on social media, which is different from Arizona's laws. California law now requires parents to set aside a portion of earnings from monetized content featuring their children in a trust fund, extending the Coogan law to child influencers to prevent exploitation. The Coogan law was for child actors originally. Now it's extended to children of influencers. Key aspects include creating a trust for 15% or more of gross earnings from content where a child appears in at least 30% of posts, providing records, and allowing minors to sue for noncompliance, with the law taking effect in 2025. So is that the real reason she stopped posting her kids' faces? She still posts their bodies and, like, still posts them, but, like, not their faces the same way she used to.
Right. She's not using them for like brand partnerships or something like that any longer. And I'm so glad that California passed this law. How is this any different than when stage mothers would bring their kids to auditions and force them to do commercials or plays, when in fact, actually now with child influencers, you become in full creative control of your child and what they are in. It's not like you bring them to an audition and they have to like perform. It's like, no, they're just at home eating and you're photographing them. This is so deserved, and I do feel like children influencers deserve a portion of those earnings for their future.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of this California move, she has totally, we talked about this in Dark Energy Tuesday a couple months ago. She has massacred this house with the worst renovations I've ever seen. It is so devastating how this happens. I will finally post it on our Instagram, but I want to show Christy again in case she's forgotten. So this was the before of her kitchen. I will show Christy. I will show the camera. Wait, can you see?
Yes. I can see it.
This is
it's
the
like
before.
Wood, kind of tile, backsplash.
Yeah, tile backsplash. A gorgeous large island with a sink. It's really just a gorgeous like dream kitchen. It has like a skylight. Now, white marble beige, millennial beige.
Yeah.
She's
I think
that
the white thing is totally out.
And it just looks cheaper. It just looks cheap. Like the marble looks cheap. Like it looks fake.
Yeah.
It just looks so much cheaper like this. I don't know why people do this. She also remodeled her daughter's like bathroom and bedroom, and people make fun of the fact that none of the finishes in her bathroom match, and it just looks so bad. They were like, whoever did Avery Woods' house like was trying to like fuck with her.
Yeah,
it looks so bad.
It was an op, yeah.
It was an op. It looks so bad, but that's, that is what it is. Let's get into, speaking of makeovers, her change in appearance. She's been very vocal about plastic surgery over the years. She shared her boob job journey from start to finish. She educated her followers on the pros and cons of procedures, having been an aesthetic injector herself. She was open about her nose job she got in 2024, and she has always had very obvious lip filler and Botox. She's since gotten her lip filler dissolved, and you can tell that's probably true. Her lips look a lot thinner now, not as overfilled as they were at one time. But I think that her whole like, hey, look, I'm like, just she was always posting unfiltered pictures of her body after giving birth, normalizing the physical changes during motherhood. And she was very open about just having this normal body, having plastic surgery. It was very relatable and authentic to her followers.
Right.
And her looks have recently drastically changed. And this has led to speculation of Ozempic use. And like I said, it's no longer the loud, boisterous, relatable mom content. Now she is always wearing beige, talking in her soft-spoken voice, very minimalist, very muted, like we said, haunting her own house. She also has claimed that she doesn't do Botox anymore. She posted, first Botox in over a year, but also posted about getting it 5 months ago. So you can't keep up with your own lies.
Yeah,
and your new clean girl aesthetic, because it's clearly some sort of facade that she has now. Is I am actually this clean girl, even though that's not at all who she was. And we were just talking about, she was a nurse. Now she's a full-time content creator. That's totally okay. People loved her personality. People loved who she was as a person. They were able to adapt with her as she left nursing and went into content creation full-time. But what about the fact that she is a totally different human being now?
Well, yeah, and also, she was born in 95. She's 30 years old. At this point, your frontal lobe is fully developed. You're a mother. You have a beautiful family. Why the drastic change? I feel like this is something that someone in their early 20s or teen years would do. It's just the difference is so stark, and I think she's lost track, seemingly, of why her audience loved her to begin with. She was this messy, kind of authentic, not super GLP-1 type body. But now it's have you forgotten why people started to hit follow to begin with? That's what I don't understand. This is such a drastic change in content.
Drastic.
Why?
Drastic. And I hate commenting on people's bodies. I feel like this is part of the larger conversation about her, is that she has transformed into a totally different type of content creator than she originally started as. And people are why?
Right. There's no reason for it. You've garnered so much success where you were able to purchase a $3.7 million home in one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in California. You have it all.
Oh my God.
People clearly love you.
And Christy, she is always unboxing a new designer bag. Constantly.
Oh, I have no doubt, yeah.
Every single day, it's a new designer bag. People love her. She has done really well for herself. Why the sudden change? It's very interesting. And again, is it, was she trying to channel Emilie Kiser at one point? Because Emilie Kiser was more of this clean girl aesthetic. I don't know. It's very strange. She denies being on a GLP-1. She actually said that she tried it for 2 weeks, but it made her super sick, and allegedly she shit herself, so her husband threw away the needles. I don't know. You can take that for what you will. You can believe it or not. I don't know. She does seem to work out a lot. Her day in my life, she's always going to the gym. Mm-hmm. In any case, she just has clearly lost a ton of weight. She is just completely unrecognizable than she looked even a year ago, honestly. Between the fillers being dissolved and the weight loss, it's been just incredible transformation. I say incredible as in drastic. Not saying she looks better now or before. I personally thought she looked amazing before.
She's so pretty. She really
she's
is
beautiful.
So pretty.
She's naturally beautiful. People are also saying that now, with your rapid weight loss, you look even older than you looked before, and you looked older before. And that's just what a lot of her followers say to her. And she actually pokes fun at it. She's like, oh my God, my haters are going to be so mad that I'm getting Botox right now because I'm so old and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
She plays into it, and she seems to have a very thick skin for the amount of shit she gets on social media, for the most part.
No, I mean, there's not something I don't know, with her, it's not like she's said or done anything super egregious. I thought that the Jesus rape thing was a little much, but it seems
gross. And the exploiting her children.
Right. but she seems pretty fine. I'm more concerned about her, just when you're changing your content that significantly, there has to be something going on more. Some kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Mentally.
What's going on behind the scenes?
Right, yeah, exactly. No one has such a drastic change, not only in their personality or their appearance, but like what you're outwardly showing the world. There may be something going on behind closed doors that is probably far more concerning than what we're even seeing. That's where I'm most concerned about. I don't get it. I don't get why you're doing this at 30 years old. Not age shaming her at all. It's like usually people don't do this drastically at 30.
Right. And also the other thing that she has been doing that she used to not do is like drastically photoshopping her photos in a way that, like, she used to be this authentic. That was her whole brand, was I'm authentic, I'm real, I'm myself, I'm loud, I'm just me. I'm just me being me.
Well, me, yeah.
And people really loved that and respected that about her. It's like, why all of a sudden are you so obsessed with looking a certain way? And I guess that is the trap of social media. It's like the bigger you become on social media, the more you probably fall into that.
The more hypercognizant you are of your appearance. And that's just being a woman. We're always going to be shamed for our appearance, whether we're too thin, we're too big. We're not trying to, continue that narrative. It's more so when you see a difference this significant after a significant loss in her life. I hope she's well. Speaking of just the pressure of being a woman, I have to say, I was looking at Hilary Duff's tour videos, and I love that she is so strong. She has like a curvy butt. Like, she's such a beautiful woman, and I love that despite her dealing with so many body issues that she has talked about when she was in her teens and early 20s. I love that she embraces her body, and she just is such a strong girl. And her body is goals to me. She's just like so freaking strong, and I love seeing like a normal, like a un-Ozempic body on my screen.
in this world where it seems like we are surrounded by everyone on Ozempic and everyone being a stick figure, appreciate some curves on our ladies. But again, it's not that we are trying to comment on people's bodies and people's appearances. It's the fact that this is like the world, the social media landscape that we're living in right now. Yes. It seems like everyone is on Ozempic, and it's so trippy. And I think the thing about Avery that is so, it's like this is coinciding with your whole personality changing and your content. It's like everything about her now is so flavorless.
Well, and sometimes the external body does reflect what's going on in the interior as well. So I think, her body shrinking with so much personality changes, we can't help but notice the both changing in parallel.
And like you said, it's there might be something internally going on. There might be stress. Like I said, she also suffered a loss with the tragic death of Trig.
It's horrible.
But it's really interesting how her content has shifted in that time frame. And also the fact that her and Emilie do not interact anymore.
Yeah, I know. That's sad because they, as you mentioned, they were so close before the tragic passing. So that sucks for Emilie to obviously lose her son and also lose a best friend, it seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of loss for someone.
Yeah. And it's like, how does that happen? Like what happened there? Very interesting. I think that Avery Woods, like you said, for the most part, she has done a lot of questionable things. I think the toxic boy mom thing, the exploiting her daughter, the comments about Jesus raping people, not good. Not good.
Yeah, you couldn't go without saying that.
But is she Ashton Kutcher? No. Right.
We wish her well. I genuinely, after this episode, I wish her well. I hope she's doing okay. I think the tragic loss of Trig would imprint something in your brain no matter how old you are or how much your frontal lobe has or has not already developed. So wishing
Avery. Well. I love how we were like, this episode is going to be so light and fun.
Yeah, it makes me more sad because when you see someone have a milestone in their life that clearly is life-changing and then you see these changes thereafter, how can we not commentate on it? And not in a snarky way. It's like genuinely, what's going on, girl?
What's going on? And also, like, can we just banish, I'm watching too much Traitors, ban the use of millennial gray in home renovations. Stop massacring old, beautiful houses.
Right. there's something about an old LA home that are typically like built in like sometimes the 20s. I don't know about Calabasas homes, but you have to keep that
Je ne sais quoi, the character.
those bones, those characters.
I would love a Spanish style home in LA. I feel like there are a lot of gorgeous Spanish style homes.
Yes. Like
Her home,
Pasadena,
her original home before the renovation seemed really nice. It also seems like it's like on a hill. Like it has like a really beautiful view. But yeah, again, I feel sorry for her that she experienced that loss with Trig.
Yeah.
And I am curious what the fallout was between her and Emilie, because that is not something that, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Who am I to judge or have any opinion on the matter as an outsider? But you would think that a tragedy would bring two best friends closer together instead of farther apart.
Right.
And this is also something that I think I forgot to mention when I was talking about the aftermath of Trig's tragic death, was that when Avery did return to social media, there were some things that she said and posted that people were like, well, that's a little insensitive. Like she posted about going to the pool right away. And she posted about, you know, being a mom of two. And I think part of it is, well, what's she supposed to do? This is her job. And she like, how else is she supposed to, you know, act, and how is she supposed to
go about life doing normal day-to-day things that she would otherwise be in a pool because it's hot in Arizona?
Exactly, as a mom. Exactly, exactly. And so that's another thing. It's like, did she post or say something that offended Emilie in the aftermath of this traumatic tragedy? No idea.
Yeah. Yeah, with that, with her posting in the pool and posting her kids, to that I say, I mean, this is her job. She can't just stop her entire life just to appease the internet haters that are upset because of her posts. I don't know, history. That, I think it might be something more than that. There's something else there.
Yeah. There's definitely something there that.
Yeah.
And also, this is another clue that they're not friends anymore. Emilie posted a video where she was wearing these, like, I think they're like Campbell's soup pajamas. They were branded pajamas. And someone commented, do you have the same pajamas as Avery? And she replied and said, I'm sure she got like the same PR package or something like that. Like, obviously heavily implying that they do not communicate. They're not friends. So that's
if someone posted that about you and I would be like, yes, Sophie and I are twins or something like that.
Yeah, I'd be like, we're twinning. We just FaceTimed the other night in our matching PJs or whatever. It's like, it's very clear that they're not.
Distance.
But yeah, very interesting turn of events there in terms of that, you know, Avery's whole shift.
Yeah.
Like what again, and I've only really discovered her in the past however long it's been since last May. So I don't know, but again, retroactively immersing myself in her content from before, she was such a different person. And it's very clear why she gained such a massive following. She was really fun, funny, authentic, like I said, all of the things. Loud, crass, fucking butt sex, And now she's like, come with me as I organize our powder room.
Sure, Avery.
Sure, Avery.
Well, you did a really good job walking us through this. Yeah, I guess it wasn't as light as I thought, but it is a bit of a reprieve from everything else. So hopefully we were able to give you guys a little bit of a break from everything that's going on. We really thank you guys for being here, for choosing our show to listen to above everyone else's. And yesterday we did a Pussy Posse Leonardo DiCaprio, Tobey Maguire episode. Dare I say, one of my favorite ones that Sophie has ever walked us through. Whatever you think you know about Leo, you don't. Okay, so patreon.com/snarkbaitpod, x1entertainment.com/snarkbait, Substack, all of that is linked in our show notes. We're so happy you guys are here at Soph_Ross, at Christy_Noel_, at SnarkbaitPod on Instagram, and we will see you guys on Tuesday for another episode of DET.
I like how you said thank you for choosing Snarkbait. Thank you for choosing Snarkbait Airlines. We know you have options.
I don't even know. It's been such a long. We're at almost the 4-hour mark.
It feels like we've been like doing bullshit for like 8 hours today.
No, I know. It's been a long day. So the fact that you walked us through this in the way that you did, splendidly. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you guys for listening. Love you so much. Thank you for choosing Snarkbait Airlines, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Safe travels. Goodbye.
Bye.